Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I'm your host Rajiv Unikrishnan, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders, entrepreneurs and investors. Today we have with us Seema Chandra, Managing Director of food e-commerce venture Smartcooky.com. Welcome Seema.
Hi, thank you. Happy to be here.
It's a brief intro. So Smartcooky is one of the leading e-commerce platforms focused on helping consumers lead a healthier lifestyle, providing a unique mix of content and commerce. The platform started under the banner of NDTV Food as a content website focusing on recipes, health and fitness articles, and has now become the number one food content site in India. Seema needs no introduction, but she's been in this food space for 15 plus years. She launched NDTV's food portal food.ndtv.com in 2000 and spearheaded its repositioning towards health and taking it to the number one site, food site in India. And she also recently launched the e-commerce portal called Smartcooky.com, which sells health foods, snacks, and personal care products from around the country. She's also been a food anchor on television with NDTV 24/7, NDTV India, and now NDTV Good Times. Again, Seema, welcome to the show. Do fill in the gaps, if any, in the intro, and do let us know what's going on in your world today.
Well, a lot happening. So as you rightly said, our story is a little different from the normal startup story.
Correct.
Because we've already been running this website for the last 16 years. In fact, I launched NDTV Cook 16 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In NDTV. You hear a lot of crackers at the back. I'm afraid it's Dussehra.
Oh, yes. Correct. That's right.
Yeah. It's not my house generally that sounds, or India for that matter.
Correct.
Anyway, to get back to this, so it's a unique startup in the sense that we've already had a content story going for a while.
Correct.
And we started off basically with a repository of all NDTV's recipes that were tried and tested on their television channels.
Okay.
And, we built a little sort of a website around it, with an ingredient glossary and a Ask Your Chef. I'm talking early 2000.
Okay.
And so it was, very interesting. I think a little before its time. And therefore, there was no way of monetizing it back then.
Correct.
And interestingly, then we went back to the whole story a few years ago. And that's when we decided to pivot towards health, wellness, nutrition.
Okay.
And it was, as they say, then ever since we did that, it's been very good. I mean, our audience just, quadrupled year on year.
Mm-hmm.
We had then a 200% growth, and I think that's where we are now, e-commerce.
Okay.
So in that sense, a slightly different story. It's
Correct.
Content plus commerce.
A very important one anyway. And before we move into products, so any passions outside of food and work?
Oh, well, I'm a mother of two.
Okay.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoy that role of my life. That's number one. And also music, very important.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's, again, just to let you know, we heard David Gilmour just last week. I think this was in London.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I-
he was playing, correct.
He was playing,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would traverse to any part of the world if I can and save up my pennies for good music.
Correct. So moving on to products. So after content, so what led to the idea for the smartcookie.com?
Right. So basically what happened was when we pivoted, I should say rather, to health and wellness and nutrition, and the traffic went up. And then when we were asked by our promoter to look at e-commerce, we were very clear we should do it in the space and area that we get and we have a competitive advantage.
Correct.
Why become a big bazaar, which is like a normal grocery store? NDTV and being here for that many years, they don't teach you how to, make sure a product reaches from point A to point B in the shortest possible time. That's not our core competence or our strength. So which is why we then stuck to health. And the good news is that ever since we started the thought of doing the site to now, the sheer number of manufacturers we've discovered in India who just didn't have a platform to go to or felt very lost, say, in an Amazon
Correct.
or a Snapdeal because, just such a big area. Our whole game plan was to really then give them a platform where they could be seen and heard because their products are unique.
Got
And
it.
I would say that that's our real USP is to find these, make in India products for now at least, and sort of give people who don't have. And India is a very large country.
Yeah.
No, so the idea was literally to aggregate them. But having said that, we've tried to. I use the word curated very carefully. The site has stuff that has been handpicked by our team. So
Okay.
we are not a pure play marketplace at all.
Got it.
We're not. We've
Okay.
been through the products, we've seen them, we've done our QC at, of course, not in a lab, obviously, that's too expensive. But we've been through every nutrition label, and therefore, only then, when we've it's passed the Smartcooky litmus test, have we taken on a product.
Okay. So y'all curate, I mean, look for the manufacturers, but I'm sure a lot of manufacturers also contact you, right?
Now, yes, for the
Okay.
last many months, frankly, they've been coming to us, which is great.
Okay.
And I think the NDTV name helps tremendously because
Of
there's
course.
so trust,
Yeah.
which they feel. So yes, it's been good.
So you're leveraging the 3 million plus visitors that comes to food.ntv basically, right? Or
We've got almost 4 million
oh, wow.
uniques.
Okay.
4 million uniques, 9 million page views, and we've never spent a rupee on acquiring any user. It's all organic.
Very rare for today's world.
Yeah, I think we just got in at a good time. I'd like to believe.
Correct. Correct. So I mean, Smart Cookie, the main goal is commerce, right? The commerce part of food.ntv.com, right?
Well, I'll be honest here. If you see the site today, and it's just we're working on the design as we speak.
I had a look, yeah.
We keep saying that for us, e-commerce is educated commerce. So it's not only about e-commerce. It's about, when I say it's not only about e-commerce, we've also got the content piece, of course. We're also looking at an affiliate model. A lot of people, for
Okay.
example,
Okay.
doctors come to us, and we've already got a booking your doctor widget on our site. So we feel the internet is a lot about collaborations. Once you're sitting on 4 million uniques with a 60% return visitor, which is
Wow.
quite a loyal audience
Yeah.
that you could get. We just think that, the idea is to collaborate with, everybody and not just think that it has to be only e-commerce. So we're very open to pivoting as we go along.
Okay. Okay. So I guess the smart box part is the e-commerce, and the rest, like the content, recipes, features, etc., go to the content part of it, right?
Box actually is more something that we've started because we want to look at subscription very soon.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's really something that we thought let's curate because half the time you may want healthy oils to eat, but you have no idea what these are, and the average person doesn't want to go researching. So we thought let's take the thinking away from the consumer. Let's curate these boxes. We get our margins going obviously because you've got 6 to 7 products in a box, and the consumer is happy because if they have a particular health problem, then they just have to go click on the box, and then sooner or later when they get hooked on, we'll start subscription.
Okay, got it. Now you planning to start like special video content just for this site?
Yes, very much.
Okay, got it.
Very much. So in fact, that's something that we wanted to do once we tied up our e-commerce.
Okay.
And very, very strongly, the next thing we want to do, because we're all from a television background,
Yeah,
essentially.
correct.
It's in our DNA. So we'd like to do that very much so.
Okay, great. So I mean, in terms of people in a team, so you appointed Sumit as the former Rocket guy as a CEO, correct? And he's been on the team for how long now?
He's been there since January.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
And how big is the team currently? I mean, just the core team.
We've got about, so including content, we've got about 29 people. It's
Great.
quite.
Great.
Yeah.
And what about, so I read also that y'all are doing a partnership with the Glanbia Performance Nutrition for the fitness drive, Fit India campaign, right? Can you tell us, listeners, more about Fit India and also the partnership?
Yeah. So Fit India basically is this, it's this campaign, national campaign that Glanbia is doing as their CSR. It's across 12 cities. And so we've partnered with them as their digital online partners along with Amazon. And honestly, it's just to spread for us. It's a clear way to market our brand across the country.
Correct.
And what we want to do is share what they want from us essentially is to share our knowledge base on nutrition and wellness. And they intend to go to schools, to police academies, to, military
Mhm.
organizations across the country. And we'd like to help them with that, with all the editorial that they would need. So it works out very well for us. We get the on ground marketing support and they get, the editorial support because they essentially have not done this ever before.
Correct. Correct.
Worked, I think, quite well, and this is yet now it's taking off. We've done the original sort of flagging off
Okay.
the partnership. Now it's going to take off.
And I must ask, but does the gadget guru, man himself, Vikram, advise you on technology, or
Always.
rather
What-
interfere, or is it advice?
No, actually, it's always advice. He doesn't tell me what to cook and
Okay.
what's on the table.
Okay.
That's my domain. And when I need to upgrade anything, then very clearly, I don't need to go anywhere else.
That's true. Where do you see most of the growth come from? Is it pan India or is certain pockets?
Very interesting. It is pan India actually.
Okay.
And I think South India that way is a little more advanced.
Got it.
We seem to be getting, a lot of interest from there. But it's early days, really early days.
Okay. And how do, I mean, of course, you're a, there is a great weight behind like NDTV and of course the visitors, but of course, a lot of, now you have a lot of content, blogs, and also sites that are there. So how is this? Is it like tough to stay on top?
Honestly, something, I don't find it problematic.
Okay.
I think we've done it with a very lean team. It's a very good team, I'll tell you
Correct.
that much.
Correct.
They've really pulled off something quite remarkable. But I do think that, we've got a game plan in mind because, the digital and the internet world is
Every day. Yeah.
changing very quickly. So I think if we stay focused and just don't say that, oh, because now we're doing e-commerce, let's put content on the back burner. That would be a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just keep our focus and make sure that we work according to game plan. I don't see that as a problem at all. And let there be more food bloggers. Food is very democratic. It is meant for everybody to come in and give in their 2 bits.
Absolutely.
So having said that, the wellness, nutrition, the kind of stories we're building around that, to my mind, that is our real strength. Food itself will only get bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
I think the wellness story, because of, just look at lifestyle issues around the world.
Hmm.
I don't think that relevance will sort of dissipate in the near future.
Correct. So you all raised, I mean, when for starting a sizable funding from guy like people like Google's Rajan and of course Vandana Luthra, Siddharth Pai, etc. The funding you're going to be using it for product. I mean, marketing is not much required. The team is pretty lean also, but it's primarily product or content.
So no, this money came in and it's actually meant both for content and commerce
Okay.
that have got us, and this was our initial round.
Correct.
And now we're out there to raise more money very
Okay.
clearly.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
everybody, we got brilliant names like Mr. Vindi Banga, Pramod Bhasin, and the rest that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Everybody's come in their personal capacity.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
We didn't go to organizations or to VCs. It just happened, They believed in the space we were in. So now we're back in the market and we're very clear that, to keep the show going, we'll need another round of bridge funding.
Okay. And you're going to keep this India itself, India centric, or you're going to venture out of India?
That's an interesting question. It's really very, it's just open to, I think, the kind of opportunities that will come our way.
At
I
least.
honestly think so much about health is also, cross country. For so many NRIs sitting overseas, they would want to have, raw turmeric, which
Of
is
course. Of course.
or, ragi flour, or you name it. So the kind of products that we have, I honestly see a huge, huge NRI audience.
There is. There is.
It is. It's just that, we need to do this step by step.
Yeah, that's true.
Certainly, I think if we could get the funding as well as then, just first understand the Indian market and then say, okay,
Yeah,
now we have
correct.
courage
Correct.
to step out.
Great. And I mean, over the years, what challenges have you seen? I mean, particularly with food startups or a food content site like yours, what are the main challenges that you're seeing?
In food content, interestingly, of course, the main, not even a challenge, but yeah, one of the big issues is how do you steer clear from PR companies and people trying to push their own agendas? As simple as that. And honestly, again, being in NDTV for so long, it's drilled in your DNA not to do things like that.
Correct.
And I would say it's been easy because it's very much part of what we've been taught from the management, and it goes right to the top. That you don't take favors, you don't turn around and push people's personal agendas. And if you stay true to it, I think in the long run, you build a certain credibility. So that's as far as content goes. As far as commerce goes, I think supply chain isn't all that easy. When you're looking at over 2,000 products like we have, things are bound to go out of stock. How do you stay, above it all?
Correct.
Also, logistics. Both of those. Logistics is something that, honestly, we are managing to very easily sell right now pan India, but we want to decrease the time, decrease the number of days. It's a challenge. It's not all that
Last
simple.
mile is always is. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And to make sure that, there is that oh wow factor.
Yeah, that's true.
You get the box.
Okay. So, okay. So NDTV is now in Gadgets 360. They have a site. They have Indian roots. They have Band Baja. They have what next? Is there any a plan for something else? Or you're leveraging? They're leveraging the content piece for all these different e-commerce. Oh, okay, got it. Got it.
That's
Okay. Okay. So moving out of product, Seema, over time, who's influenced you most in life?
been asked that.
Doesn't have to be one person. It can be
No,
multiple.
but I will say, I think in my case, very clearly my father.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an entrepreneur himself who's been totally self-made, and so yeah, I would say his work ethic, his way of dealing with people. I think businesses are not about just your balance sheet; it's a lot about how you deal with your teams.
Very true.
I think I couldn't have had a better example right from childhood to see somebody who's always been so correct. And I think somewhere, if I've imbibed a bit of it, yeah, I'd be grateful for that.
And over time, what is some of the best advice you've been given?
Best advice, I have to tell you, has always come from Pranoy.
Okay.
That's Dr. Roy.
Yeah.
I've worked directly under him, with him when I joined NDTV. And hello?
I'm here. Yep.
Sorry, okay. My screen just went off.
Okay.
And honestly, this whole area of getting into food, this whole thing of him, sort of, he just has this knack of knowing who fits in best where. And he handpicked me and said, this is what you're going to do. I hated being on television. He insisted and pushed me into it. And I think every step of the way, he just saw way ahead what I couldn't see or fathom. And even though I would argue, I think in the long run, it's worked out brilliantly for me.
Absolutely.
He just has a sense of clarity and direction. And I think just seeing someone's strengths and knowing where to plug them in.
Correct.
I would have never imagined that I would have found, my passion, which is clearly food, and it'll remain food, I know. It just, he knew it and he saw through it.
Great. And so, ever since you started off, I think with India Today, for your corporate job gigs, and when did you know you were meant for, like, okay, now you're working for NDTV, but this becomes an entrepreneurial venture for you. So when did you know you were meant for this?
It was about a year ago.
Okay.
But even when you were running a site, of course, that sort of entrepreneurship was different.
Yeah.
You did have budgets, I have to tell you. You did have, you had a P&L.
Correct.
Let's put it that
Correct.
very straightforwardly. But this animal of e-commerce is very different. It's like going to business school, 6 times over. And I'm
Okay.
sure you've heard this from other startup. So it's genuinely challenging. It's great that I've got somebody from the startup world like Sumit to sort of someone who's been there,
Been
done
there,
that.
correct.
It's really good because I feel we learn a lot. Our team genuinely was only content. So interesting that there's a mix between the vision, which is I know what will sell when it comes to good food, and if we marry that with his strengths, which is how does the e-commerce animal
Yeah,
work,
correct.
as technology, and how do you get that piece going smoothly? I think those two things functioning together is what will really make it happen.
Okay.
But I do sometimes think that it's going to be a little difficult to go back to content alone. Now
Yeah,
that
that's true. Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
it is. It's just a lot of fun.
That's
That's it.
true. And I mean, you're obviously involved in the hiring process, etc. So, someone wants to join Smart Cookie. What are you looking for in them as a?
We're a lean team.
Yeah.
And we are a lean team. So anybody who wants to join first is to know that you've got to slog. There are no two ways around it.
Correct. Correct.
We all have, that it's not an option that, everybody slogs, everybody's there. And I think we're also a little senior team, I must
Okay.
mention.
Oh, okay. Got it.
We've all been in the workplace for quite a while. So whether it's somebody who heads my category to the tech person, the CTO,
Mm-hmm.
Inder to Sumit to us, we're not your regular 26, 27-year-olds out there asking for money. So in that sense, one looks for people who've had a little bit of experience. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, not just new kids off the block. And I mean, I could be criticized for this, but I think because we're not a brand new fresh startup, we can't afford to make mistakes. My content team also has now worked with me for over 5 years.
That's true. In fact, yeah.
So I just want to get people who bring in a certain insight, a certain work ethic, and somebody who can work in this closely knit team together. I think that's about it.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
not,
And at present, anything that's getting you and the team really excited? Any new launch or feature coming out?
well, we've got an interesting, of course, Diwali is right around the
Oh
corner.
yes, yes.
We've got very interesting products like, smoke-free diyas. We've got gorgeous, healthy foods for Diwali. Multi-grain laddus, chocolates,
Oh wow. Okay.
low sugar. We're trying to tell people, consume less sugar, have stuff with jaggery,
Okay.
things that India can easily produce. So our story right now is very much made in India, make in India. We're
Okay.
saying come to us, shop for things. So Diwali is really what excites us right now, and I think it'll roll over into Christmas. This is a great time for e-commerce
Oh
companies,
yes.
and especially food, because people are spending. And so, yeah, we're just hoping that we can create a bit of a buzz around the kind of products.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want to burn money making sure that people discover us.
Correct.
We want them to come, sample, and then find out for themselves how unique we are.
Okay. And where do you see yourself and the business in, let's say, 2 to 3 years?
Ah, I think I see that there could be um, large companies who could be interested in a product like Smart Cookie.
Of course.
Large companies, I mean, companies who are in this area of, say, health food, and companies who could be interested in our content story and also. And so we could be a very attractive play for large companies to take us over, actually.
Yes,
So,
very true. Yep. So now we move to a part of the show which is a quick fire round, simple, brief answers. Okay. So when people ask you, what do you do? How do you answer that?
cook.
Okay. Good enough.
So get paid to eat.
Okay. Even better. When you think of the word successful, who is the first person that comes to mind?
My father.
Okay. What do you excel at that people might not realize?
Teamwork.
Okay. And what is something you believe in that other people think is totally insane?
Kindness.
Okay. And Seema's greatest weakness?
Uh, getting attached.
Okay. M commerce or e commerce?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
M-commerce or e-commerce?
E-commerce.
Okay. And your favorite city globally?
Globally, South Africa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cape Town.
Cape Town. Okay, lovely. Yes. And finally, one last thought or piece of advice that you may have missed that you want to give our listeners.
When you go out for funding, it's a very, very tough process. It's not easy. You just have to hang in there. As simple as it sounds, but just hang in there because it's not easy, but it's got to be done. It's
That's
as
true.
simple as that.
Listeners, that's coming from someone who has the vacuum NDTV but still finds it tough. So it's going to be really tough. Yeah. And please let our listeners know how they can reach you and also Smartcooky.
Sure. So very easy. I mean, my email is seema@ndtv.com and the URL for Smartcooky is smartcooky.com.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Great.
And the content and commerce site will be both. Like I said, now they're one.
Correct. So again, Seema, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start your own ventures, and all the very best at building and scaling Smartcooky.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. Pleasure to talk.
Do visit smartcooky.com and visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes, and also please subscribe to the show on all the platforms and leave a review on your thoughts about the show. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.